What's going on? This is Big G from Rydes, and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing the 2016 Cadillac Escalade ESV Luxury Collection. Welcome to the 2016 Cadillac Escalade ESV. If you're not sure what the Escalade is just pretty much just a luxury Suburban. So pretty much they took a Suburban platform and they put a Cadillac badge on the front, up the quality in the interior. It always has the big engine option, so this one has the 6.2 liter. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's nothing drastically different between this and the Suburban that I thought of before I even drove this car. But from driving a Suburban and driving this, it's completely different. It's a luxury vehicle, and I'll get into how things are different later on in the video. On this Escalade, it has a 6.2 liter V8 with 420 horsepower and 460 foot-pounds of torque. That power is put down by a four-wheel drive system through an 8-speed transmission. And from driving it for about a week now, I can tell you, for a big SUV like this, it's actually really fast. Before I talk about any of the features, first I have to say, this vehicle is very, very stylish. It is not drastically different over a previous generation Escalade. They just took their modern Cadillac look and applied it to this and just made it look really beautiful and elegant. So with this being an $80,000 vehicle, this car has a lot of standard equipment on this trim. Some of the standard equipment on this Escalade includes a 360 camera system, 22-inch wheels, full LED headlights and tail lights with LED daytime running lights, auto folding mirrors, really nice leather interior with suede accents, navigation, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, power sunroof, power liftgate, and many other things that you expect to have on an $80,000 luxury vehicle in 2016. Like all GM products, this Cadillac Escalade comes standard with remote starter. Also, since this car has the power folding mirrors, it has auto folding mirrors, so when you hold the lock button, the mirrors fold in, and then hold the unlock button, and the mirrors fold back out.
Time to kick it old school.
Alright, let's take a look at the inside.
So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah. Talk about the interior a little bit. That's really cool. So when you close the door, the Q system kind of powers up and it does a little sequence in the instrument cluster and on the screen here. So this interior is really, really nice. So this is an $80,000 vehicle, and with all the material qualities in here, you definitely can tell that this is an $80,000 car. So you put your elbow up here, it's really soft. The dash is really soft. The steering wheel has a really nice feel to it. All the buttons are feel really nice and have a good quality to it. And the touchscreen here in the center just looks really beautiful. I really like it. I'm not a huge fan of all the touch sensitive buttons, but it's really cool, really beautiful, really elegant. My biggest gripes with this interior is I'm not a fan of this wood. I just think that I know this is like a classy vehicle and everything like that, and not a lot of young people buy Escalades just because they're a little expensive and they rather spend the money on some other things. But I just don't think that I'm not a fan of like the old school looking wood in here. I think they should have went for like a more modern look with the wood or a little bit modern of a color. But that's just my personal opinion. So one of the cool things that all the new GM products have that I'm not that a lot of people aren't really aware of is here in the center where like there just used to be like an empty space here. This is a wireless phone charger and it works with a lot of Samsung phones, but I know it doesn't really work with iPhones. So here in the center, it has a different suspension modes, so you can put it in sport or tour. Tour is like the comfort mode, and then sport mode is sport mode, and actually it firms up the SUV a little bit. It's actually pretty cool. Right over here, it's like the button you can adjust for kind of like your falling distance when you're on the road. So pretty much, cars in front of you, it kind of locks on just to kind of some safety features. Say if you come up, the car steps on the brakes and you're not paying that much attention, it will blink at you and tell you that you need to stop and slow down. Also over here, it's kind of cool. There's a glove box button. So you press the button and the glove box comes down. Really cool. And then also, a lot of people don't know, it's a secret. The little secret compartment is you tap under this little silver portion down here and the screen comes up. Right, now I'm going to walk through a little bit of the features on this interior. So again, I keep bringing this up, but this is an $80,000 vehicle, so this interior feels like an $80,000 vehicle's interior. Everything is soft to the touch. The gauge cluster is like really beautiful looking, and the center stack is really cool too. So if you're not familiar with it, all 2016 GM products come with Apple Carplay and Android Auto. So that's when with the projection here, you plug in your iPhone or your Android phone, and pretty much your phone is projected onto the screen. Let me demonstrate that for you real quick. All right, so I just plugged my iPhone here down in the bottom here where your USBs are. Close that up. We don't need to see it. So when you have an iPhone plugged in, Apple CarPlay comes up. So you just hit the Apple CarPlay button, and there's your Apple home screen right there, and you can swipe through like it's an iPhone. So like you have your music app, your Spotify here. You can like search through the library and everything. It's really cool. And you can bring your maps up. Your Apple Maps. I wish it was a Google Maps, but it's Apple Maps. And it kind of brings up kind of where you are and your pretty consistent locations that you are. Then you're now playing, brings up the song that you're playing in whatever music app you're using. And you can...
With whom would you like?
And you can access your phone here, so you can have your contacts, or you can dial a number. And it comes to the speakers without having to connect through Bluetooth or anything like that. It's a really neat feature. And besides that, you have your regular nav. But with Apple Maps installed in here, I don't think that I would ever use the regular Cadillac Q Systems navigation system. It's nothing against it, but it's just kind of easier to use the Apple Maps one if you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in here. It also has all these different features, like it gives you traffic alerts if you have XM radio, weather alerts. You can use Pandora from here, and then you also have like the audio function, of course, where you can change the radio, mess with your Bluetooth audio, all that type of stuff, and everything else on here is self-explanatory. If you're familiar with modern cars, you know how this works. But one thing, I talked about this earlier, but this car has 360 cameras. So I press right there. Right now it's showing me the rear camera and the side view camera. So right here are the side view mirrors. Alright, one of the really cool things that this all digital display does, it like shows your album art and the songs that you're listening to at the time. It's really cool. Really, really cool. One thing I discovered that was kind of interesting, but this car's security system has motion sensors. So if you ever look at the top of an Escalade up there, it'll have this thing right here. So pretty much like if you leave the sunroof open, or if there's something moving around in your car, it will set your alarm off. I found this out the hard way. I parked outside of my house one day and left the sunroof open, then a leaf fell in my car, and then my alarm went off, and I was just like, what is that? It's really funny. One thing I need to talk about is the fuel economy on this car, on this truck. I was blown away by how good the fuel economy was on this vehicle. So this is city mileage, of course. You know, with any big vehicle like this, you don't get any good city mileage. But there's at some point where I got 25 miles to the gallon in this 6,000 pound, 420 horsepower truck. That is insane. That is insane. I never thought I would see the day where a big V8 SUV like this, big V8 four-wheel drive SUV, will be able to squeeze out 25 miles to the gallon. And I mind you, this vehicle is only rated at 20 miles to the gallon highway. So GM, great job, great engineering on this SUV. During this week, I also had a chance to drive a the 2016 Lincoln Navigator also, and I struggled to get 20 miles to the gallon on the highway in that. So that just tells you how advanced and cool this Cadillac Escalade is. And also, the Navigator wasn't a long wheelbase, it was just a regular, and it was barely getting 20 miles to the gallon. But with all the modern technology, 8-speed transmissions, and everything like that, it just allowed this vehicle to be excellent on the field, which is actually... So this vehicle comes with the rear captain's chairs, and they're also heated. It's not lit up right now, but that's where all of the rear heat controls are. All of the big GM products have a button to fold up the seats. So the button is located right around here, and you press the button once, and it folds. Press it again, and it lifts up. And then your third row passengers can get in easily. Put it back down, and it's all ready to go again. And also there are cup holders and little cubby holes back here for people to store things. And then down here, it's like a little cover storage area that has like suede in it. Just a really cool, like, little luxury touch there. Alright, so in the back it has the full-length LED tail lights. That look really cool at night. Classic Cadillac look. But I'm back here to talk about the liftgate. So, just like all the new Ford products, weird enough, they brought some technology from Ford. You can go here, put your foot underneath, and it opens up. I think that's a cool integration of some modern technology with GM did there. And also, over here, GM finally got smart and folded their seats into the floor. That is excellent. They finally did that. That Ford has been doing it for so long. I'm surprised that it took GM so long to integrate that into their big SUVs. So just like Ford's, it also has the electronic buttons to put the seats up. There you go. Pretty quick, fast, and easy. And also you can fold the second row seats too from here. Really cool. And to close, you can just put your foot underneath and it closes again. Alright, let's fire it up and see how it sounds. Just like any other new car, just hold the brake and touch the button. I don't know if it comes up on camera, but this car also has a heads-up display. right, let's talk about how this.
First, I want to start off by saying like how quick this thing is for being this big. So, just cruising along, and then you floor it. This happens. With 420 horsepower and 460 foot-pounds of torque, it really gets this 6,000-pound beast moving good. I'm just impressed about how much power and torque this thing puts out. It does not feel like a slow SUV. It actually feels faster than my Lexus, which it probably is. And one of the things, it does drive like a pretty big SUV, but it feels a lot nimbler than older SUVs of its kind. I remember how driving a 2005 Chevy Suburban or Cadillac Escalade, where you go to take any type of turn, it feels like you're about to roll over. This one, it feels like you can actually take some turns at decent speeds, and there's a lot of stability there. The steering is it's really good steering, honestly, for a big SUV. It's not supposed to be a sports car steering or anything like that because it's a big SUV. It's just really direct, easy to turn, and there's no issues with it. I have no issues with it. Pedal feel and brake feel are pretty good, but GM has kind of an issue. I have kind of an issue with GM's accelerated pedal feel. It feels like it's just trying to get the best fuel economy, so sometimes it's not that responsive, which, you know, it's just a personal preference of mine. I'm just not a fan of it. But I still love the vehicle itself. The ride is excellent. For having big 22-inch wheels, you barely feel anything. So I'm going to put it in tour mode now, and that is the best setting to drive in the city. My opinion, just because no matter what city you're in, you're probably going to be going over quite a few bumps, and because the sport mode actually does firm things up a bit. So in the tour mode, this thing rides like a cloud. It just floats over everything, and it's just great, just really great. So when you put it over into the sport mode, your body roll doesn't increase or anything like that, but the rides just get a little firmer, and it feels like it has some kind of like sportiness to it. It's kind of funny that a big SUV like this can have some type of sporty feel to it, but it does. It's pretty cool. And then back to the power. Wow, this thing really gets it. I'm gonna talk a little bit about, is this worth $80,000 over the $70,000 an LTZ Suburban's cost? And my personal opinion, I think it is, because you get a little more luxury, a little more quality, a lot more power, a better transmission, and there's just more presence with the Escalade than a Suburban. You know, Suburban is just a Suburban, but an Escalade, it's a luxury vehicle that looks the part. So when you see it coming down the road, you will not mistake it for anything else. And the Suburban can be mistaken for something else. It can be mistaken for other big SUVs like the Expedition or the Navigator, or not the Navigator, but like the Expedition or the Sequoia or something like that. But when you see an Escalade coming down the road, you know that it's a Cadillac. It has a lot of road presence. So if you're looking at buying a Suburban over an Escalade just because you don't think it's worth the money, I'm here to tell you that it definitely is worth the money. There's more substance to this vehicle. And I was one of those big believers were like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy an Escalade ESV. What's the point? It's just a luxury. It's just a fancy Suburban. It does all the same stuff the same. And I'm here to tell you it's not. I've driven the Suburban, and don't get me wrong, the Suburban is nice, but this Escalade is better. It's a better vehicle.
Do I think $83,000 is kind of a lot? Yes, it is kind of a lot. But if you are looking at buying a Suburban or a Denali for that matter, I mean the Denali is about 70. The Denali XL is about 75 to 78 grand, and Suburban LTZ fully loaded is about 72,000. So I mean, you're not paying that big of a you're not paying that much more money for the Escalade than you are those other fully loaded SUVs. And so for that reason, I feel like the Escalade is the better deal. So if you like this video, go ahead and go check out some of my other videos and subscribe and keep riding with me. Alright, you guys, if you like this video, go ahead and throw a thumbs up on the bottom, hit that subscribe button, and watch some of my other videos, and keep riding with me.